Hello, welcome to another episode of Sporvado Sports. My name is Evan, aka Big Ev. So I would like to do a recap of Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals between the Blazers and the Warriors. Obviously, I'm a Blazers fan, so I might be a little biased here. Don't get me wrong, but we lost Game 1, 116 to 94. My thoughts on Game 1. Not good for the Blazers. We had a numerous amount of turnovers, and Lillard and McCollum were just awful, and they just not get hit on any points. I give props to the Warriors defense. The Warriors defense did a phenomenal job off the pick and roll because that was mostly our Terry Stotts' offense goes through that as McCollum or Lillard taking up the ball up the court and either do pick and roll. But yeah, they were just you can see they double teamed really well in the beginning of the game, and just throughout the whole game they were just shut down. So you would see, excuse me, Lillard would end up have to passing the ball, either a turnover, which tons of points off of turnovers, and or just getting the ball. Like other guys on our team, like they got up to a big amount. Like Harkless had 17 points, and Rodney Hood. Let's see, we got Rodney Hood 17 points, 2 for 5 from 3 pointers. So like other guys had to step up, but it wasn't enough because we had a numerous amount of turnovers, which no matter what you do, turnovers is not you. Yeah, we had 21 team turnovers to finish the game, and you do not want that as a team. And the Warriors definitely they kill you with their 3 pointers. So if Klay Thompson or Curry, if you commit a turnover, they do a fast break. They're unbelievable team chemistry. Even though they're without Durant or Cousins, they can hurt you. They can hurt you real bad. Um, just easy three. Because Curry and Klay Thompson, those guys are just phenomenal shooters, one of the best of all time. And Curry is just he's a straight shooter, and he takes you out all game. Like looking at his stats right here, he was 9 for 15 from 3 pointer, and he had 12 total field goals made. So that shows you the more he takes more shots from the 3 point. That's his whole game. People think he's an phenomenal shooter, but he's a solid all around player. But particularly his main is part of his game is shooting. So if you shut down the shooting, it's going to be a lot more easier to defeat the Warriors. But obviously, Curry is just even some plays you can contest him so deeply, and he's just still going to make shots. But overall, though, I just the Warriors having Iguodala or Draymond Green on Lillard or McCollum, those guys just shut down those two. And then there's props to them overall because that's just a huge point that you would need um, to shut down the Blazers, especially when we still don't have Nurkic, and he was a big part of the offense. Nurkic is phenomenal in the pick and roll. Not saying Cantor is a bad player, but Cantor, he's still he struggled a little bit. He's not. He had 10 points, 16 rebounds. So he had a double double, but still at the same time they were able to shut us down easy, which was not what we wanted. Looking at the stats overall, though, playtime, a lot of people played for the Blazers. Very, average. Seth Curry, that's right, the Curry brothers, battling out in the Western Conference Finals, seeing Del Curry and his wife wearing split jerseys with the Curry brothers, half and half on each. It was really pretty creative and like that. It was really funny. Um, but yeah, so pretty much he was obviously Curry was he's a bench player. He's not obviously Steph is better. He's a star player, and then Seth is just he was just a solid role player shooter off the bench, but he couldn't get it done with starting shooting the ball 1 for 7, which is not the best. Um, yes, overall, the Blazers, in order to beat the Warriors, they have to at least try to win a game at this game two, upcoming game two, because we have to take advantage of Durant not being there. Even though the just showing you how deadly they are with still having Curry. That's the thing that the Warriors, they're a stacked team. Even without with injuries of Cousins and Durant, they still got Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and the entourage of their bench, and it's just a great team chemistry vibe. Like they like just the fast breaks. Watching the Warriors in fast breaks is phenomenal. They get things done. It's just fluid. It's just they know where each other are. And that's what I like about the Warriors is that they can get things done in the fast break, and they can hurt you so bad if you commit a turnover. And that's just what the Warriors do such good at. And like everyone hates the Warriors. It's just me truly. It's just because they win too much because they're that good. Even without getting Durant. Before Durant, they had one of the best records of all time, and just like and it's just we'll see. It's crazy. The team is phenomenal. Steve Kerr has done a phenomenal job. Um, so it's gonna be a good challenge. And from being a Blazers fan, this is our first Western Conference Finals since the '99 2000 season, with Scottie Pippen, Sabonis, Bonzi Wells, and Rasheed Wallace, all those guys. That was the team. That was an awesome team to. Obviously, I was 1 years old at the time, but so that was a long time ago. Um, but it's just it's good for the Blazers to get here. So even if we lose against the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals, I will be fine because we did not get swept in the first round like we did last season. So it's a major improvement, and I'm completely fine with that. It's just now I want to see if we can get some wins um, for these upcoming games in the series. Obviously, we'll go to Oakland, and then after that will be the next two games in Portland, which I'm going to try to go to. We'll see. The tickets are getting really expensive. Uh, cheapest I can find was like 132, and that was like nosebleeds. Um, But overall, that's just it's gonna be a really good series because I feel like Lillard and McCollum. I think they won't be shut down for too long, even though Lillard and really struggled in the series against Denver because the Denver has a phenomenal defense. So we'll see what happens because Denver covered Lillard in like complete, just like a complete wall around him because obviously you saw Lillard's success and against the Thunder. Um, that was a great game. Obviously, the buzzer beater shot over Paul George was unbelievable and phenomenal. Um, so obviously, other teams had to worry about Lillard. It's just like, okay, this guy's really good. We got to cover him up, and that led to McCollum having more success against Denver because they shut down Lillard, and it gave McCollum more opportunity for the ball and getting like 37 points in the game 7 against the Nuggets in Denver, which is a key win for us to advance in the playoffs. Um, so we'll see what happens. We have to. Terry Stotts needs to find a way to scheme the plays better and try to. I'll try to, from my point of view, I would try to get away from the pick and roll because it's kind of obvious because either Lillard's going to drive in or he's just going to hit a three, and you kind of judge like you kind of tell what by Lillard's act with his dribbling if he's going to take a three or not because it's obviously he's going to try to do a step back or something. So it's kind of like really you can assume really easily judge what he's going to do next. So I try to avoid the pick and roll and try to do. I liked what I see. What I liked most about the Blazers. Evan Turner did a great job passing the ball, so I'd like to see him um, move up the ball more. And Lillard and McCollum maybe come off screens off the sides, not a normal pick and roll, but just screens off the sides or just movement without the ball, scoring without the ball, catch and shoot or like that stuff. So that's what you saw with Stephen Clay, because we even know those are the top shooters on their team, just like us with Damian and McCollum. But most of the plays, well, Curry did bring it up. He's a point guard on the team. They had most of their shots off of screens and catch and shoot opportunities. So that's what we have to look towards. Obviously, we're both big scoring offensive powerhouses. Both the Warriors and the Blazers are unbelievable in scoring, top in the NBA. But they have to figure out a way to adapt to that tough, harsh defense. Try to get um, like obviously they're gonna try to do a double team on Lillard and McCollum. Try to know judge like okay, that's probably gonna happen. Let me like swing Harkless. Harkless is doing a phenomenal job trying to get open. So try to bring those guys into the paint because you have them positioned somewhere, so you know that like okay, let's say Draymond is covering Harkless, and then Draymond is gonna go up and double team Lillard, and then have Harkless cut right to the basket, and boom, right there for a nice easy 2 point basket. So just trying to see what happened because I feel like over the halftime break, Terry Stotts didn't do as much changes to the offensive scheme as mostly simple pick and roll. Not saying all the plays were pick and roll. I just felt like it could have been better or something adapted or changed with that. Uh, and we'll see what happens. Honestly, it's very exciting for the series because each team has a lot of threats and weapons on their side, and it's just this is gonna be a very exciting series, and it's just I'm really excited to see what happens. So overall, game one obviously was a little disappointment as a Blazers fan, but at the end, the Warriors had great props. They came to prepared. They even though they had a longer break because they did not go to force game seven against the Rockets, and the Blazers obviously had game seven against Denver. So literally right after game seven, they had to fly right to Oakland, and then day after that, boom, game one. So they had no time to shoot around, which I did not know. I listened to the ESPN broadcast of the game tonight, the 14th. Um, they had no time to shoot around. Well, obviously before the game, but still like a full practice, and it just sucks. And it's just kind of like the whole NBA too. It's just like most games. It's a long, grueling season, and most of the games you have are just quick flights, and it's just non-stop playing. I props to the players though for enduring this much, mental fatigue and also just body fatigue. It's just constant game after game after game after game. So at the same time, even though they had many turnovers, they shot the ball poorly. This could be all mental, mentality too. They were exhausted, mentally exhausted from their flight and everything. So that could be a main factor, but at the same time, I can't use that as an excuse. The Warriors did a phenomenal job playing tonight. So game two is up in the air. We will see what happens, and also I'm excited to see maybe they're predicting Durant to maybe come in game three-ish. I don't know. We'll see what happens, and maybe Cousins. I don't know. So that's obviously Durant and Cousins coming in. That's gonna be a complete change to the whole series and stuff, and be a really much harder for the Blazers in the future. The Blazers did pretty solid against the Warriors this regular season, but at the same time, regular season is different than the postseason, different environment, different mentality. So we can't use that as an example, but still, that's just our play with the Durant Warriors. We did beat them before, so even though it was not promising game one, there still could be more positives in the future. And I'm, hoping that it can lead towards some success in the future. So, game two, I believe this Thursday. Yes, Thursday. And then tomorrow I'll do a review on the Raptors and Bucks. That will be in Milwaukee, as Milwaukee is the number one seed and the Toronto Raptors is number two. And then obviously it'll be back in Oakland Thursday at 6 p.m. on ESPN. So it'll be very exciting. All the Final Four teams are really good teams, and coming up in this, the Raptors Bucks series, that's very exciting after Kawhi hitting that game buzzer beater that lucky shot bounced off the rim so many times, and it got in somehow. I don't know how, but just seeing the Leonard against Antetokounmpo, Giannis Antetokounmpo. There we go. That's a great matchup. Those two are going to be dominant forces. Honestly, I prefer the Bucks to win because I love Giannis. But at the same time, Toronto making the finals, good props to the city of Toronto if they do. So we'll see what happens. So I'm going to end it right there. That was game one recap of the Warriors and Portland Trailblazers in Oakland. And that'll be all for today from Sporvado. Have a good night.